Welcome back to my channel, Trey No Sports. It's Trey, your TSC Warrior, here with my picks for Week 15. These are the ways for every team that has a chance of clinching a playoff spot and winning their division title. Houston clinches a AFC title spot with a Houston win plus a Indianapolis Colts loss. Pittsburgh clinches a playoff spot with a Pittsburgh win or tie, a Miami loss or tie, plus a Indianapolis Colts loss or tie. Green Bay clinches a playoff spot with a Green Bay win plus an Atlanta Falcons loss or tie, plus a San Francisco 49ers and LA Rams tie. Minnesota clinches a playoff spot with a Minnesota win or tie, a Los Angeles Rams loss or tie, a Seattle loss or tie. The Philadelphia Eagles clinch the NFC East title with a Philadelphia Eagles win, a Washington Commanders loss or tie, a Philadelphia Eagles tie plus a Washington Commanders loss. Up first on Thursday Night Football 8:15, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams are favored by 4 points in this matchup. The Rams have the better team in this matchup. My score prediction is Rams 31, 49ers 27. Next up, we have the Chiefs versus the Cleveland Browns. Even though the Browns are terrible, this could be a trap game for the Chiefs where they overlook a team like the Browns and think that they are the Cleveland Browns, a terrible team. This game could be very competitive and the Chiefs still pull it off, but barely. My score prediction is Chiefs 28, Browns 24. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Titans. The Bengals are favored by 2 touchdowns in this matchup. Jamar Chase is due for another big game. He just came off another big game against the Cowboys. He's been putting up big numbers this year, despite the Bengals losing because of their defense. He can have a big impact against this Titans defense. My score prediction is Bengals 29, Titans 13. Next up, we have the Washington Commanders versus the New Orleans Saints. The Washington Commanders are favored by 3 touchdowns in this matchup. This is a place where Jaden Daniels is familiar playing. It's the place where he played at his college school in New Orleans. And it's a team that Marshawn Lattimore used to play for. The Commanders will get a huge boost on defense this week with Marshawn Lattimore making his debut against his former team. My score prediction is Commanders 33, Saints 13. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Giants. The Giants are tanking, they're not trying to win. And the Ravens, they're trying to keep their playoff spot alive at keeping their rankings in the AFC climbing up with the Steelers, the Chiefs, and Dolphins, and the Bills. And my score prediction is Ravens 37, Giants 10. Next up, we have the Cowboys versus the Panthers. The Panthers have been playing some good football despite their record. Bryce Young's been looking good. And The Panthers could do the impossible, beat a team like the Cowboys this weekend, and they're favored by 4 points. My score prediction in this game is Panthers 24, Cowboys 19. Next up, we have the Jets versus the Jaguars. This is one of the games where it's a battle for the draft picks. I have the Jaguars winning. The Jaguars have the better team in this matchup, and we don't know which version of Aaron Rodgers we'll see in this game. So my score prediction is Jaguars 18, Jets 13. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Houston Texans. The Dolphins are trying to keep their hopes alive for a wild card spot, and the Texans are trying to keep their hopes alive for staying in the playoffs and competing with teams like the Chiefs, the Ravens. But I think that the Dolphins will win this game. The Dolphins have too much firepower on their offense at wide receiver wise, and the Texans do not have defensive cornerbacks to stop Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, all of those speedsters on the Dolphins offense. And my score prediction is Dolphins 28, Texans 23. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored over the Colts by 7 points. The Broncos have the better team in this matchup. The Broncos are trying to keep their hopes alive of being in the playoffs and getting that wild card spot in the AFC conference. And my score prediction is Colts 20, Broncos 27. Next up, we have the Bills versus the Detroit Lions, possibly the game of the year. The Bills just suffered a tough loss to the Rams. That was another one of the games of the year last week. And this could be a very close game. The Lions, they're trying to keep their number one spot in the NFC. And they're trying to keep the Eagles from getting number one spot. And the Bills, they're trying to win their number one spot back from the Chiefs. My score prediction is Bills 33, Lions 30. Next up, we have two of the best teams in Pennsylvania, the Steelers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams have winning records at the top of their divisions. The Eagles, they're trying to keep their number one spot in the NFC East, and the Steelers, they're trying to keep their number one spot in the AFC North. My score prediction is Steelers 34, Eagles 24. The Eagles are due for a big loss at some point in the season, and this is one of the games where it could happen. Next up, we have the New England Patriots versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are favored in this matchup by 3 points. The Cardinals are trying to keep their hopes alive of making the wild card in the playoffs. And the Patriots, they're just tanking at this point. They have a good future quarterback, Drake May. And the Cardinals, they're doing better than people expected this year. And my score prediction is Cardinals 27, Patriots 24. Next up, we have Tampa Bay versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are favored by 2 touchdowns in this matchup. This is a game where Tampa Bay will have at least two giveaways by Baker Mayfield to the Chargers defense, and it will cost them the game. My score prediction is Tampa Bay 16 and the Chargers 30. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Packers just came off a tough loss to the Lions, and they're trying to keep their playoff hopes alive at making the wild card round and keeping up with teams like the Vikings. My score prediction is Packers 31, Seahawks 28. Next up on Monday Night Football at 8 o'clock, the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings play each other for the second time of the season. The Vikings won the last matchup in a thriller, but this time it won't be close. The Bears defense got exposed last week by the 49ers. I think it will be the same. Sam Darnold is going to expose the Bears defense with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. My score prediction is Bears 14, Vikings 34. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Raiders. This is one of the games where this isn't a game where the Falcons should overlook the Raiders. They lost to the Saints this year, a team that is dealing with injuries. And Kirk Cousins has been terrible, going on a streak of 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. The Falcons will win this game, but it won't be easy. My score prediction is Falcons 28, Raiders 20. Here's the playoff picture heading into Week 15. Super Bowl 59 is the goal. The Chiefs and the Bills have been the two top franchises in the NFL over the years. This past 2019, 2024, when Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes got picked by the Chiefs and Bills. The Chiefs and Bills have been competitive teams when they got picked by their teams, Mahomes and Josh Allen. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions are trying to keep their number one spot from the Philadelphia Eagles, the Seattle Seahawks. The rest of the 15 playoff spots in the playoff bracket still need to be figured out and sorted out by the NFL franchise. We have 3 weeks left of the regular season of 2024 NFL season. A lot could change over these next 3 weeks of the NFL season. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments which topics you would like me to cover next week.